Brighton Beach Busking presents
Daniel, Jake, Josh, Ronty, Ian, Oscar, welcome to
the Busking Break.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Oh, right.
The show where we interview your favourite Brighton Beach Buskers, finding out the stories behind the musicians that sound our streets.
I try everything to a very average level.
Music is... I mean, if it had been the Olympics, it would have been a gold medal.
Make sure to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you do not miss an episode. So come with us and be part of this journey.
Cool, shall I ask you a question then?
Go on then.
Okay, so now it's my turn to ask you a question.
So I'm going to ask you a question.
Cool. Okay, Ben. Now, with your wisdom...
You know, us buskers, we're weird and strange people.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of The Busking Break, filmed at the Works Pier. I am August Radio Project, and if you didn't know, as well as interviewer, YouTube creator, musician, I am also a busker here in Brighton. So all the buskers that I have interviewed decided that they wanted to ask me questions too. I hope you enjoy it.
Cool, so you do music?
Yeah.
Cool, so who is your influences?
Good question. So I grew up in sort of like classic 90s kid way, listening to like mainly Blink-182 and Green Day. They were like my two like foundational bands. And when I was 12, 13, I actually went to see Green Day. I went to see them at the Milton Keynes Bowl, and they have like a live album, and it was that show I went to see them at. And that day was like embedded in my head as like the day that I realised what I wanted to do in my life. Just watching Billy Joe play like in front of all these people and have them like at his fingertips, and just all, you know, the whole performance, I was blown away by. So
Favourite band?
yeah, they are like one of my favourite bands, and still to this day my all-time favourites. And I guess like everything from the songwriting to the way they play to the way they structure their songs and like kind of fit together, they're awesome. They're like, you know, they're the main one.
Nice.
What kind of guitar do you use, and why did you pick that model?
Oh, great question. So I have an acoustic guitar that's like my main squeeze, and an electric guitar is my main squeeze. And the acoustic guitar is a funny story because I used to play an Epiphone EJ200, which is like the Elvis guitar. It's like this huge boomy thing, and an absolute pain to carry around because it's so big. But they got stolen, and when it got stolen, I luckily had insurance on it, so I got the insurance payout. But the guitar, since I bought it, had gone up in value, so I got more money than I paid for the guitar in the insurance, which was like win. So when I went to the music shop with the insurance money, I managed to get a Gibson. It's called a Gibson E125 or 165, and it's a beautiful guitar, like more than I ever thought I could own. And it's been everywhere with me. I used to take it when I toured in a band, so it's like the case is covered in stickers and memories, and it's come all over Europe. And then my electric guitar, so my old band were lucky enough to tour America, but we would never be able to afford to take our equipment with us, so we would go to America and buy equipment there, tour with it. And in America there used to be a shop called Guitar Center, which is like a national chain. They're everywhere, but they had this hilarious returns policy where no matter what state the thing you'd bought was in, you could return it for a full refund. That was the deal. Like, the customer service rules in America were so ridiculous that you could kind of really take advantage if you wanted to. And for some guys going out for like a 2-3 week DIY tour, perfect. But the first time I went out there, I bought this guitar, this Telecaster, and I toured with it with the intention of returning it at the end. But by the end of the the tour, I loved it so much that I decided to take it home, and now it's my guitar. So I guess the reasons I have these guitars are more like sentimental than actually, technical. But yeah, they're my guitars.
Okay, Ben. Now, with your wisdom, what can buskers do to improve their, lifestyle? Can they make it better?
I think that to improve your lifestyle as a busker, I think that one of the best things to do is, as you said a bit, kind of approach it like an actual job. As opposed to sort of thinking, I'm just going to go busking. Like, think about what you're going to do. Like, plan a set list. Plan when you're going to go. You can't always plan exactly where, because you might show up and someone is already there, or the weather's no good, but have like a rough plan. I think that that's the secret to like a good, almost like you build a routine of like your busking, you say that, if you tell your friends or your partner, whoever, like on Saturdays and Sundays, I'm busking, or Saturday through to Thursday, I'm busking, or whatever your picked days are. Keep tabs on the weather as well. That's always a good one. If you're going to plan a big busk and then you look at the weather and it says rain for 4 days, then you need to maybe plan a songwriting session or something slightly different. I think that the actual busk itself, for me, I have to have a set. I like to run the set in my head, otherwise I just don't know what to play. I'm like, I finish a song and I'm sitting there thinking, what should I play? And there's nothing worse than you strum the last chord and then a horde of people are walking towards you. You need to know what to go into right away. So I'd say the set list is your main thing, and then outside that, kind of build a routine around your lifestyle as a busker.
Sometimes, like when I'm playing, I don't know what the next halfway through the song, then I know what I'm going to play next.
Yeah.
I sort of like listen and think, what's the
Yeah.
to play?
You can read the vibe then. This is true. But I think you always kind of need to know what you're going to go into, whether you plan it in the moment or have it solidly written out. Because if that horde of people walk past and you've stopped, then you might be missing a trick.
And I reckon do one more song, then you always do what. If you're going to stop, just do one more.
Yeah.
Because that's when all the people come.
Yeah, very true.
So I'm going to ask you a question.
Cool.
What is your favourite song to busk, and what is your least favourite song to busk?
Oh, that's an awesome question. I'm going to steal that question from now on. My favourite song to busk, and my favourite song just to play in general that's not mine, is a song called When It Rains It Pours by a country singer called Luke Combs.
Amazing.
I absolutely love the song, but it's one of these songs that, when you hear a song and you ironically like it,
Right.
you're like, haha, this is a funny song, but then over time you listen to it more and more that you're like, no, I actually like this song. It's that, and I always open with it because one, it's got like a good range and it kind of warms me up, but two, it's just like, it reminds me of like really good times. And I love to like play it, like even if just some mates are over, and we're jamming, I just break into that song. So that's my favourite song to play. Least favourite? Oh man, probably like, there are a few songs that maybe I play because I need to maybe learn some more songs. So I'm just sort of filling gaps, and they always feel a bit half-hearted. Like you saying about putting energy into performance. Like, I don't maybe feel like I put all the energy into those songs. So I try to make sure that everything gets 100%, but maybe not always. So I'd say one of those.
So Benedict, us buskers, we're weird and strange people.
Yeah.
So we generally get into this because we're broken in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So what brought you into busking?
What brought me
What
into
put you on the
busking?
streets?
Woo! I guess I was young when I first ever tried busking.
How old were you when you started?
I was 14.
Yeah. You
So-
get it. Money's really good when you're young.
Yeah.
Oh, what a cute lad.
Yeah, epic.
And it's like it sort of sucks you in.
Yeah, and the first time I ever went busking, it wasn't even money. We got like sweets. People were giving us sweets. and
Easily bought.
yeah, we were all over it, and I think that
Did you go out with friends then?
yes, a couple of friends and I just went out, and we did some busking, and we happened to be busking on a day where they were doing like a tour guide. Somebody was bringing a load of tourists around. This was in Cambridge.
On Cambridge.
At the time, and all these people like from other places were just fascinated by us, and gave us money, gave us whatever, and that was like
It's great because it's only at a young age you get the pocket money, you get independence. You're not relying upon mum and dad anymore.
It's amazing.
It's probably great for mum and dad as well.
But also, like, I think the main thing, I mean, in my time of growing up as a musician, I guess.
Great for your self-confidence.
Yeah. So it hits so many things. Like, you can earn a bit of money. You always well rehearsed. If you go out 4 or 5 times a week, you're.
It's like what I do with me. I'm recruiting new saxophone players for my band, and a lot of them get really uppity when I tell them, all right, you can learn all the stuff, but you got before you do the paid gig indoors, you have to come out busking with us 2 or 3 times, because I'm not going to impose a paying client, because it really coalesces the band, isn't it?
You'll gel like nothing other. Yes, it's a paid rehearsal. It's connection as well. I think one thing that I've grown up through is the whole sort of taking away the people from music, like you no longer put out records and stuff, you put out the stuff online, like streaming and things. Streaming pays nothing.
No.
We all know this. But when even gigs, there's sort of decline in ticket sales, and with the pandemic, gigs just were off the cards. So there was this sort of like taking away from the people. And I think when I moved to Brighton and I started busking again, it made me realise how much people actually value what we do. Because
a lot of people don't see live music until they see it in the street.
And they see it, and then
especially young kids.
Mesmerised. And that for me, it was the connection. It was like, oh, okay, people really like this. People like music. They want to see it live, even if they're not aware that they want to see it live.
The best time I saw that, like the video on my Facebook page is like when my band went out just before lockdown or just when it was ending, and people went mad because people had missed music so much.
Yeah.
And people just want to party, You can blame them. People want joy in their lives.
Yeah, they want connection.
And that's what we do. We create happiness and joy.
Well said. Couldn't have said it better.
That's my time to ask you a question.
Awesome.
You mentioned earlier the book, The Lightest in Black.
Yeah.
You said that was like a big transformational experience for you.
Yep.
How did you get hold of it, and like what was going on in your life that helped to?
Good question. So the light is the new black is the name of the book, and when I was back in like 2019, I started practicing yoga regularly, and like most people, I got into it for I like running, so I was just trying to become more injury free and things like this. But through it, I would say I had like a spiritual awakening. I started to really listen in, because when you're practicing yoga, it's sort of like a gateway to meditation, I guess. And then when you start meditating, you start to so my partner and I started buying all these books and reading into it a lot more, and I stumbled across Light is the New Black, and my partner read it first, and when she read it, our lives, I've never had like a normal life because I'm a musician, and I think if you're a musician then a normal life is right off from the word go. But my life went wild. So she read it, and we went from living in a flat, not really knowing where our lives were going, to suddenly we were living in a van. And we were living in a van in Europe, and so I was like, well, if that's what happens when she reads it, I probably should read it myself. And it's a book about what you were saying, this kind of like spiritual meaning to life, not living for you, but living for why you're here. And that really hit me. And through the book, you have to do various exercises, you do journaling exercises, you do meditation exercises, and this was what put me on the path, probably like why I'm here right now talking to you guys, because I read this book and I started to really channel in, why am I here? What is my light? What have I got to shine? And I realised it wasn't what I was doing at the time. Like I needed to follow my intuition more. And so I follow my intuition. I end up living in Brighton. I end up busking on the beach. I end up meeting Brighton Beach Busking. I end up here. And it's sort of, instead of living, like trying to, here's my analogy. I really like to get in the sea, right? In the mornings when it's cold. And when you get in the sea and it's cold, you have two choices. You can try and fight it, you can shiver and you can try and, I want to get out. Or you can just relax, lay back, let the sea take you. And it's kind of the same in life. You can try and control life, you can try and fight it, you can try and make things go the way that you really want to. But that's kind of living in your ego, yeah? Or you can let life happen and just go with the flow, not like a hippie level, but on like a, things are going to come your way, and what you're here to do is going to happen, whether you try and control it or not. So you're better off just letting it happen. There you go.
Powers.
There's probably a song in that.
Powers.
You could probably channel that and make it a song. So there you go. That's why I recommend the book.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
That's cool.
So Ben, I was just kind of like, you've asked me like a bunch of questions. I'm just like curious about you. Like outside of music, like who would be the most inspirational person to you?
Whew, that's a question.
Big question.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, there is many people I take inspiration from, and there's many things I take inspiration from. I think that, this is a crazy question. I recently read Will Smith's book. He's a musician, but musically I wouldn't say that I was influenced by his style or anything.
Sure.
I read his book, and his book had me gripped.
Right, okay.
So he has this bit in the book, I'm going to tell his story.
Right, yeah.
But he has this bit in the book about, so he had this like music career and it went really well.
Yeah.
But he was like completely naive and he spent all his money and he didn't pay his taxes. And then he finds himself completely broke, famous but broke.
Right.
And he has this bit about how he went to a party where the producer, I forget the producer's name, but the guy that ended up producing The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's there. And Will Smith goes to this party and he's down in his luck, he's broke, his music's going nowhere, and then this producer comes up to him and says, got an idea for a TV show. It's like about, you come from a broke place in Philadelphia, you come to LA and you live with this rich family. And he's like, there's some producers here, there's some directors here, you've got to do the audition now at this party. And Will Smith's like, I can't do an audition at a party, that's a silly thing to do. And the guy's like, okay, so what do you want to do? And Will Smith's like, we'll reschedule for next week. And he's like, but next week this person will have this down their kids' school play to go to, and this person will have to have another meeting, so they're not going to be here. So what are we going to do? And then Will Smith's like, well, maybe 2 weeks' time. He's like, but then he's in a different country and he's decided to go to she's decided to do another TV show. So he's like, you either do the audition now or you go. And he decides to do the audition. And in the book he has this part and he says like, the universe wants the miracle to happen, but you just got to get out of your own way to let that happen.
Got like positive realization type thing.
The only person that's holding you back in most situations is yourself.
Absolutely.
And it's that hit me like, and I even I wrote the quote in the front of my journal, like, dang, that's a good quote.
It is. I mean, it is like, do you know what I mean? You have to see yourself performing where you want to perform, or being where you want to be, or being who you want to be. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
even your open mic though, like, why haven't I gone to it yet?
Right, yeah.
I don't have a reason.
Maybe, why has
Sunday, going could be life changing, the people who get to
well, this is it, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like, why isn't Will Smith come?
But this is what I mean, and I think that it's so important to sometimes check in and go, no, I'm going to the open mic. I'm going to busk on the street today because I don't know what will happen. I know what will happen if I stay in and don't do anything. I don't know what will happen if I put myself
Absolutely. I think that's really positive, man. I think there's you know, one thing that I sort of really dislike in people is sort of like cynicism. And there's always cynical people that it's like when people sort of talk about positive sort of visualization and stuff like that, or sort of even being positive, people are just like, ugh, that's lame, man. It's like this isn't 1994. Like, do you know what I mean? Generation X is well and truly gone. Like, you know, there's nothing wrong with being positive for yourself. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think that's cool, man. Awesome. I think I think that's I mean, like, you know, look, Will Smith's one of the most successful people in the world. Exactly. So I mean, if you don't listen to anyone, like, definitely, why not? Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice one.
Thank you for watching the Busking Break here on the Brighton Beach Busking YouTube channel. If you haven't already, then please click subscribe, like this video, and hit the notifications bell so you know when videos have been posted. Go and check out our busking guest. All their links are in the description. I have been your host, August Radio Project. If you're a musician, creative, and you like challenges, or you need some tips and tricks, then go and check out my YouTube channel, also linked in the description. Thank you to Works for welcoming us to the Works Pier and believing in the project. If you're a creative looking for workspace in Brighton, contact Works through the details in the description. They offer co-working, craft space, sound studios, offices, meeting rooms, and more. Also, thank you to Mug Time for the wonderful mugs. You can find the link to their Amazon shop in the description below. And thank you to you for watching the Busking Break. And I'm sure I will see you in the next one. Thank you.